Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about what is a good credit score. Hey everybody, Will Frazier, Realtor and Credit Guru, and my mission is to give you the information you need to overcome your credit obstacles of the past to turn your dream home into a reality. Now, when it comes to what is a good credit score, I really see a whole lot of different information everywhere, and people kind of misled on what's good and what's not. Now, my opinion on what's good and what's not is very different from the scales that you may see out there. A lot of times I end up running into people who they've been taught about credit and how it works and to have a good score at a young age, or by the first time they saw their credit score they might have seen it in a really good spot, so they think that being in the 600s is actually a bad thing. And that's kind of crazy because most of the people that I work with, they're trying to get their score to the 600s just so that they can be able to see some breathing room and be able to get approved for things. But most people, like I said, that have been taught about it at an early age and have been taught that a 800 or so is where you need to be, they think that the 600 is a bad score. Now, besides that, they have a whole bunch of different scales out there where if you look at Credit Karma or other places and see your credit score, it may say that you have a B or a C as far as your credit rating, and they may say that it's poor, fair, or good, something like that. And the grading that they give you based on what your score is kind of off from what I would say, with my personal opinion. Now, the reason why the scoring can be kind of off as far as what's good and what's not is because of scoring models, credit scoring models. And so what credit scoring models do, or what they are, is they are algorithms that basically calculate your score based on certain factors differently. And each model has a different calculation for your score. So it's basically like looking at Fahrenheit and Celsius. It's basically telling you the same thing, but it's giving you a different number is the best way to look at it. So most people have heard of Fico, but what they don't know is that Fico has more than 55 different versions. Now, the base Fico is going to have a scoring range of about 300 to 850, while there's the industry-specific FICO scores, which range from 250 to 900. And the industry-specific FICO scoring is basically if you apply for a mortgage, that's industry specific. If you apply for a car or a credit card, those are industry specific credit scores. So they calculate your score differently than they would with a base FICO scoring model. Now, another thing that differs is Vantage Scores, which on the older versions of Vantage Scores, they range from about 501 to 990. So you can imagine if you look or you apply at one place and they give you a certain score, and then you apply somewhere else and they give you a different score, and if they were using two different scoring models, then it would kind of throw you off as far as whether your score is good or bad. Because you see, if you got an 850 credit score in FICO, that would mean that you have perfect credit. But because the scoring range is different on a Vantage score, if you ended up seeing a Vantage score, 850 would mean that you have about average credit. But the real thing to go by here is going to be the FICO score, because 90% of lenders, more than 90% of lenders, use FICO scores. Now, it's going to be a different scoring model depending on what you're applying for, but a FICO score model is going to be what you're going to want to kind of gauge yourself at. And now, going off of my personal opinion, which is different from what the scales may say, anything 650 or higher is going to be good credit. Now, the reason why is because I know that most people are going to get approved with a 650 score. Like, you're probably not going to have to worry about if you're going to get approved if you have a 650 score. You're not going to get necessarily the lowest rates on anything, but you can get approved, which is normally the hurdle for most people. Now, if you get to a 720 or better, I consider that to be excellent credit, because at that point, you definitely don't have to worry about getting approved, and you're definitely going to get the best rates that whatever the place is has to offer. Now, a lot of people still want to try to strive to get to the 800s, to get to 850, to get a perfect credit score. And I can tell you that as far as your interest rates and getting approved, it's not going to make a bigger difference for you to be too far past a 720. Now, what it will do is add extra padding, so that basically, if you have a mistake and you end up getting late payments on your credit report, or you get inquiries on your credit report, something like that, it's not going to hurt you as much as another person. So basically, you'll have points to spare, and you won't drop down to a low point where you won't be able to get approved for things. So it does add extra padding to your credit score, extra protection. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, I would like you to go ahead in the comments and leave any comments that you have as far as what you feel like is a good credit score, or what you've been told about if you had a good or fair credit score and what you think about that. I want to thank you for sticking around to watch the video for me. If it was useful to you, don't forget to like it, share it, and hit subscribe so you can get more useful information like this in the future.